And these clips fly everywhere when you open the deal. It's safe to say that there's some interest in the V10 Dakota swap, because last week's video did the best out of any other video that I've ever put on the channel within the first week. And not by a little, by a whole lot. So I just want to reach out and tell you guys thank you so much for sharing it, or watching it and checking it out. Whatever you guys did, supported it, and it has really done well. And it's only Wednesday, so I have a feeling it's going to continue growing until the weekend, and I owe that to you guys. Thank you guys very much. It is a project that we've been wanting to do for a long time, and we've kind of been putting it off, and that's my fault. I should have done this a long time ago. So if you are new to the channel, one, subscribe. It's free. It's absolutely free, you know. Two, I have over 250 videos on this channel, so, or close to 250 videos on this channel, and we don't leave in the middle of the project, so we're going to continue working on this thing. Now today I'm not working on it, but I do owe you guys an update on it and what our plans are. So let me start there, because we have come to the conclusion that this thing really needs to move back about 2 inches. Measuring from like the pinch weld down there on the core support to the grill is kind of less than 3 inches. And we know that we're going to need some room to kind of come back. And the water pump is just well underneath the core support itself. Not to mention, that's a lot of weight hanging off the front of the truck. And if we look right here, I don't know if it's going to translate to you guys or not, but basically the center line of the axle is right here. And from eyeballing it, I can tell that maybe these 2 cylinders are behind the center line of the axle, but these 3 are in front of it. So anything that we can get closer back to the firewall without crazy modifications at this time is going to be beneficial for the truck not being so nose heavy and kind of diving and stuff like that. Now, we're not going to build an amazing handling truck out here. We're well aware that this is going to be a limitation, but we do want to try to make it as almost good as it is now. Before, you know, we do want to make it drive pretty good as far as drivability wise, steering wise, and we don't want to just, you know, plow into things when we're taking a turn or anything to that extent. So and let me show you how we're going to do that. So we have basically come up with a plan to make some plates that are going to move the motor mounts back. So if you think about it this way, I've got some holes drilled. So what I did is I took our factory motor mount, I marked our 3 holes, then I measured back 2 inches, and I'm gonna we're basically gonna drill 6 sets of holes. These holes are gonna hold the motor mount in place. These holes are gonna hold this plate to the block. So it's just gonna kind of move everything up some. I will have to countersink, which one? This one. When we do that, and basically that's our plan. We're going to put some studs on it and stuff like that. But in order to do that, I actually need some tools set up, and I've been sitting on them for a little bit. So I have a portaband that I'm going to set up as a table bandsaw. And I actually just bought a drill press, and these are 2 tools that I've been overdue on having set up here in here for a long time, because I've just kind of been collecting tools as I go. So I need to get that stuff set up before we try to make those plates and throw everything in. I also need to buy hardware, because I'm going to have to countersink some of these things in order to make sure that they don't stick out and hit the block and things to that extent. So that's kind of our plan now. It may not make a whole lot of sense at the moment, but I promise you it will. I will say this: we do have plenty of room to move this thing back about 2 inches. The brake booster is going to be tight. We don't have a whole lot going on right there, or a whole lot of give. Now, what we can do is, one, the motor needs to shift this way, which is going to bring the back of that valve cover over some. But there is, and I've already posted a video on it, a smaller option upgrade by a company called Hypotech that makes a Gen 2 Dakota booster conversion. And not only is it a booster conversion, it's a master cylinder conversion to the Dakota and Viper style master cylinder. So if you go back and look at our videos, or in fact, I'll just put it down in the description, there is another option to put a smaller diameter but longer booster in these trucks. So I will link that in the description in case you guys are interested, because a lot of people have been commenting that they're stumbling across the channel and realizing that we do the first gen Dakota stuff. Well, we do. So maybe that'll help you guys on what you're doing. It'll probably also help out with Hemi swaps and things to that extent. But it also may still work for now. So we might remove that to get everything pushed back. Now, the other thing is the bell housing for this 47RE trans is rather large, but it's also really steep in the way it comes down. So if you haven't seen some of my other videos, I have a 92 Dakota that's primer, but it's got a 5.3 and a 4L80E trans in it, and we can get it back up in there pretty well. The limitation is you may have to remove everything to remove the trans. You may not be able to get to the bell housing bolts to drop the trans from the trans tunnel isolated. This is a very front heavy motor anyway, so I don't think that that's necessarily a bad idea. But like if you didn't catch last time, I said that combination is probably going to weigh 1,000 pounds. Well, I bought a scale so we can find out. So next week we're going to at least weigh the motor when we pull it out again and see what the motor weighs by itself. And then eventually I'm going to try to hang the trans off of it, probably without the converter to be safe, and see what that is going to weigh. And the converter's definitely going to weigh, who knows, 50 extra pounds, something like that. So we'll be able to weigh this thing and kind of figure out what it's going to weigh overall and how much weight it's adding to the truck. Now, it's got 450 foot-pounds of torque, so we got some room. It's not going to care about weight that much. So, yeah, we got to move it back so we can fit a radiator in here, and then get some more unsprung weight towards the back of the truck. Worst case scenario, we might trim out some of the firewall so we can get it back there. I'm going to learn some things. I'm not a huge fabricator. I'm learning this stuff as I go. So you guys will see me learn, and you'll see me screw up, and that's going to be part of the process. It is what it is, and I'm okay with that. So, but yeah, we'll be getting this thing, once we get it moved back and get it making sure validated that we can do that and we're in good shape, man, this thing's probably going to take off pretty quick. We're going to have to do some parts ordering and get some radiators and stuff in and see if we can't get that running. I'm hoping to have this thing running in hopefully by October, maybe it'll be running by October. I don't want to put a tight deadline on it because I do have a day-to-day job. So I'm not out here in the shop all day long. It's usually weekends and after work. So I don't have as much time as I would like to be just devoted out here. But anyway, that's the update for the V10. Today, I'm going to work on this little Jeep right here. And if you guys are unaware of it, this is my 1981 CJ7. I bought it as a bit of a basket case, and I brought it kind of back to life. I got the paint all shiny again. I painted the grill. We put a new bumper on it. I painted stuff up here. I painted these fenders. Kind of blended them in, which is my first time to blend, and it actually came out pretty good. I did a bunch of rust treatment. I wouldn't say repair, but treatment. We put new hinges on everything because it had these chrome ones, brand new mirror, seat brackets. I've got a brand new to me, 4.2 and T5 transmission that we had to put in it because the other stuff was bad. And it's been a fun project, but I've been working on it for about a year. And I love it. I actually really, really enjoy driving it. I enjoy it much more than I thought it would. It is so much more fun than I thought it would be. It's easy to get out in and out of parking lots, but it's Texas, and we're getting into beginning of June, and that means hell's coming with 100-degree heat all summer, and I don't know how much I'm going to drive it anymore. And I think I've had my fun with it. So every now and then I'll buy a vehicle that I like to save to bring back to life. So if you've watched the channel for any part of time, we brought back to life a 1970 C10, a 2007 Dodge Magnum SRT8 that was quite the basket case. Now we've done the Jeep. I also did a 78 Dodge Ram Charger that was like a University of Texas truck. So that was really cool. So I've done some, I would call them revivals because they're not restorations, but kind of bringing these things back to life. And so check out the playlist on the channel if you're new, because there's all kinds of stuff on that. But today I've mostly done with this thing, but I need to do a couple things to finalize it, and then I'm probably going to list it for sale. I'm going to drive it while I list it for sale. But a couple things. This first thing that I'm going to work on is this. This is the electric, this is the not electric, manual parking brake fixture, and it no longer locks in place. So recently this has been my parking brake, and it does a good job. But I would like to have a real parking brake. So I do put it in gear, but I'm always afraid it's going to roll down somewhere and like run into something. So that's my first project today. And I actually bought one off of Amazon, I believe, or eBay. And it was actually pretty reasonably cheap. The only difference between this one and the factory one is the factory one has like a post that you put the e-brake light on, and this one has a spade terminal. So I'm going to have to change that. But other than that, it's actually just a couple bolts, and then you put the cable in. So, once we get all that figured out, the cable will go right here. I'll get it in place and we'll get it hooked up. So that's the first thing. Another thing I did to improve this thing is it needed some tunes. So I put a cheap radio in it. Little $40 Amazon radio, and I bought it because it has like knob looking. It should kind of look like factory, but it does the job. Couple 6x9s, a couple speakers in the dash, just some cheap JVC ones. And to show you these guys, I got a little crafty with it, and I put magnets on the bottom of them. And with that said, now I can kind of put them in place and they don't move, which is nice. And if we need to take them out because we're going somewhere or something like that, I can take them right out and they're just fine. So show you some video real quick on how I did that. All I did was drill through the boxes from the bottom. I bought some magnets off of Amazon, and then I countersunk those drills from the inside of the box itself because the bolts weren't quite long enough. So once they were there, tighten up the bolts, we're good to go. Pretty easy job. So I'm glad to have some tunes in the Jeep now, but I saved you guys the agony of putting that in because it's just a radio install. Hopefully most of you guys know how to do that. And if you don't, there's probably way better videos than I could create out there on how to install a radio. But let's get started on getting the e-brake put in place, at least the assembly. I'm going to pop the hood real quick and we'll look at how we get this cable off. All right, this might be a little difficult to see, but there is a clip in here that looks like it holds and it does, the cable in for the emergency brake. And it's just like a brake line clip. See if I can just get it out with a screwdriver. Of course, it doesn't want to cooperate. There it goes. And now, see if I can get this thing pushed forward or anything. It does not want to move. Oh, it's so close. What a wrestle. Took some leverage, but I got it out of there. Sorry I don't have it on camera, but what a mess. Woo. Well, here's the old one. This rubber bushing here, whatever it does, is gone. Here's the switch for it. The switch is like a different connector than a spade connector. But other than that, they're pretty much exactly the same. I don't see anything different. This guy's just pretty locked up. I may see one day if I can clean it up. I'll definitely go with the Jeep in case somebody wants the original one, but I'm gonna try to put this one in. Now, putting that cable on is gonna suck. So I don't know if there's another trick or something I can figure out, but I'm gonna have to figure it out because I still gotta get it on there. So, well, I'm thinking it might give me more leverage if I go ahead and mount this guy. And these studs right here, they just go through the firewall right there, kind of. And let me show you on the other side where they go. Won't be able to do it and video at the same time. But there's a hole here and a hole here, and that's where you just throw some nuts on them. So let me get it mounted real quick, and then we'll try to get that cable on. And that's it for this. That'll be great. How many of y'all were yelling at me saying I was doing this the hard way? Well, you were right. Because what I need to do is get underneath the Jeep to where this fulcrum is. This line here goes up to the pedal, which pulls on this U-shaped thing here with a hole in it. And these two lines pull the emergency brakes. There's a bolt right here and a nut. Well, there's a nut. And if I back this off, this will give me more slack on this side, which will allow me to have more slack up top. So I'm going to put a vice grip on here, and I'm going to loosen this quite a bit, and that's going to allow me to put that cable in up top a whole lot easier. So let me do that. I'll show you when I've got it loosened up, and we'll see how it does on the inside. So there's actually two nuts and a washer. One's a jam nut. And I could probably pull these pins and these cables out here, but I just wanted to back it off. That probably would have been the better idea, but I think that's it. Can I get it in there? Ah! Oh my God. Well, that was super annoying. It took me more time to restab, to pull the oil pan off and put that motor back in than it did to put this stupid lever on. But hopefully y'all can see it's in place. There is a little bolt right here, and everything's good to go. So now let's check it out. Okay. Neutral. I can move it back and forth. Now let me hit the e-brake. There you go. Tested. It works. Feel better about that now. Well, hello. After yesterday's debacle with an emergency brake, let's hope today goes a little bit better. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud because it's probably not going to, but we're going to see. So this afternoon, I'm going to be working on the CJ7 doors. I have already got, the windows working better. I just used some cleaner and moved some stuff around. But now it's time to take these door panels I found off of eBay and get them mounted up on here. Now, I don't think it's going to be too difficult of a process. They do slide into this trim piece here, so we'll be sliding in them when we're ready. But there are some places that need to be cut out. with a razor blade. So we have the window crank, and then we actually have door pulls as well, and they go here. However, they go in with clips, and if we look right here, see if y'all can see that, there's like, they're kind of already marked out, but they're not pulled out. So I'm gonna need to take like a razor blade and pull these guys out, and some of them are hidden underneath the leather, leather that has been folded over. So I'm gonna have to be careful while I do those. I counted them. I think there's about 8 per side. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So I ordered some clips off of Amazon. I think they're in this yellow thing right here. And these clips fly everywhere when you open the deal. These clips, sorry about that, they should just turn into the door panel when we're ready. So let me get everything set up here, try to get these pieces out and see what we can get done. All right, so first I'm just gonna try to go for this one up here and see how hard it is to get everything out of there. It's not, it's very easy. That was perfect. Still a little bit of a piece of cardboard in there. There we go. Now I just have to do that 7 more times. And I'm gonna kind of go back and forth and use the holes in the door panel as a reference. So the next one is here. I'm gonna try to just cut around it so that we don't pull up the fabric. There we go. Well, that's gonna be fun. So let me knock out the rest of those and we'll get back to it. Well, that wasn't too bad. You really gotta I took a pick to get in there to pull some of the cardboard out from underneath. These things, they have like an ear on them, and they just twist in. So if once you get in through there, you can just twist them in, and then they're in place. This panel is pretty good. This dot is cut in the wrong place. I think everything else is pretty much where it needs to be. Check on that one I can make work. This one, yeah, I think so. So that's already trying to grab, so that's good. With that said, trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this dude in there, because we've got to get him up and in there. And I think I need to stretch out this piece of metal real quick to make a little room to slide it up in there, and then maybe we can tap it down with the dead blow. So I'm just gonna take a screwdriver and twist it. It's just a flathead screwdriver. And it should pull it up some without really marring it. Hopefully that gives me a decent amount of room to slide the door panel in. Oh, before I do, I gotta make a couple cuts. So I gotta cut the window crank hole, and all I'm gonna do is cut an X. I need a new razor blade. Hang on one second. Let's try that again with a brand new razor blade. There we go. There is some felt, so it kind of makes a little bit of a difference, but I want to make sure. There we go. But that's not in our way. And then we have a couple more for the door pulls. So this one's here. Feel it with my finger. And then where's the other one? Right here. So this is the reinforced area. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and make sure we can poke through it, so it's not a problem. Okay, now I'm gonna try to get it set up. Oh, look at that, that worked. Just set up in there. Then I'm gonna try to get all my stuff lined up. I'm not gonna force it. Take my time. There we go. Sweet. Push it all down. The only one I don't have, oh look at that, that's nice, is the one in the middle here, but I think we're gonna be okay. Yeah, look at that. Windows all the way down. And I'm gonna try to put it, there we go. I want them to kind of end up at the same spot on each door panel, facing forward. That's just the screw. And then I've bought 2 door pulls that are also, well, they're similar of color, not quite the same. But it comes with new hardware, which is nice. Well, the old ones are much bigger bolts. So, we do have an impasse. We are at an impasse. Alright, here's the plan. I'm going to take these. They have some kind of nut welded on the back. You can see it's kind of threaded. But I think it's just a spacer. So, I'm going to take these. I found this hardware here. It's just a little screw. It's a standard screw. And it fits into the hardware on the door just fine. It's the same thread size. The old hardware has a collar on it. The thing is, I think this stuff is for a YJ, and YJs are a little bit different when it comes to the door panels. So I'm going to go take this over to the vise. I'm going to drill it out just a little bit so that this bolt can fit through it, and then I think we're going to be good. Drilled these out with a 1/4 inch drill bit. It's just this little piece of metal there. It was super quick and easy, and now the hardware goes through it. Now I'm going to have to do the same for this. I just realized, so let me go do that because that's not going to fit through there. All right, drilled out. Hardware should fit through it now. It does. And now, hopefully this is just as easy as bolting it in. So I'll take our guy here. Get it flush. Get it started. Look at that. And then same thing here. There's that. Nice. There we go. Door panel is done. You're gonna have to forgive me. I have lost my microphone, so if it sounds a little funny, my apologies. I don't know where it went. It's gone. It's a magnetic microphone, so it fell off somewhere. Luckily, I have another one in case I don't find this one. But anyway, other than some small miscellaneous stuff, hopefully this is the last thing that I'm gonna have to do for the Jeep on the channel, other than enjoy it. And I picked this up. This is a dash pad from a guy that was pretty local to me. He had it for sale for a decent price online. Apparently these like to rust out in the back, and this is not rusted. Also has these mounting tabs that they're supposed to have. I guess those break off it sometimes too. So this is a beautiful dash. And if you're looking at it, you're going, well, it's blue. And you're right, it's blue. But I actually had a lead on a set of blue denim high back seats and a rear seat for this Jeep. So when I bought this, I had that in mind, because this Jeep, if you look on the trim tag, and I forgot the number, maybe I'll look it up and put it in text somewhere. But the trim tag shows that this Jeep came with blue denim high back seat interior. So it actually came with a blue interior. I bought it with these tan seats that are in it. These door panels are way different color than the seats, but they sat outside for a while, so maybe they changed color, or these are honey or something. I don't really know, but it's, you know, it's an 80s vehicle, so they probably didn't come with some awesome matching interior in the first place. But so we're gonna have a blue dash with tan door panels and tan seats, or honey door panels and tan seats, or something like that. It's not gonna be the end of the world to me, because as long as I'm driving it, I'm gonna be having fun with it. I'm always gonna be looking for a set of blue denim high back seats. From what I've learned, it's Levi's material, but they don't have the Levi's buttons. That was like in the 70s that they had the licensing to do that. So once they got rid of the license, they weren't allowed to use those buttons anymore, but they used the same material. But anyway, you got a set out there that's in driver quality. I'm looking for one. First thing we got to do before we put this dash on is get this windshield folded down. So I'm going to do that right now. Hopefully. I'm going to have to move that mirror. Sweet. Okay. Now up here on the flat part of this, we have a couple trim screws. There's 4 of them, and then there's going to be 3 or 4 on the dash itself. So hopefully this won't be too bad. See? In theory, this should just go across the top like this. Let me get these in place, and I'll show you guys. I'm just having all sorts of fun problems with the GoPro. I got all the screws in up on top. There's 4 of them. You can kind of see where they go. I had to drill a hole here because there was not one, and I don't mind drilling a hole if there's not one, because somebody already cut the dash, so it's not gonna hurt anything. But I do wonder if this Jeep did not come with a dash pad. I'm thinking that that's very possible. Maybe it was an option for one. It had the inner ones, but not the outer ones. But everything's in place. I'm going to throw the windshield back up. We'll take a peek at it. Well, there it is. Interior is pretty much all done. Blue dash does look a little funny. It probably would look better tan, but I hope that someday maybe me or somebody else decides to find blue interior to put back in this thing. So door panels on, vacuumed up a little bit. I could wash the inside of this and it would probably be a good benefit to it. Everything looks great. And it looks kind of funny because the bikini top is over the top right now, but I think that's it, guys. Now I gotta put a gasket on the transfer case. I've got to put a switch in line on the upper radiator hose so that we can have a switch for the fan so it doesn't run all the time. And that's it. Everything else, in my opinion, for this Jeep is pretty much done. So I'll probably be listing it for sale before too long, but we'll see how long, see what I'm asking for it if it goes for that or if I get to hang on to it for a bit. So we'll see. I do think I'm going to try to price it fair, but I also want to get into something else, so I can't just let it go. And well, now we can get onto this thing and I can get busy making motor mounts. Then move everything back, and I've got some tools to bring out here, like I said, or to get set up so that we can start cutting things and using the drill press on things, and having some better ways to do some fabrication. Although I am learning, I am not a fabricator. You can call me a fabricator, and that's about as far as it goes. I have a whole lot to learn, but you can't learn if you don't try. So V10 stuff coming up quick. Jeep stuff is over, and thanks for following along for the whole Jeep project. I'll let you guys know what happens with it, and or if we do some more stuff to it later on, like off-road stuff. Maybe we put a lift on it, maybe we put different tires on it, maybe we find a hardtop for it. I don't know. Who knows? Let me know if you're still interested in that stuff. The Jeep stuff has not done as well as the V10 stuff, that's for sure. So let's get on the stuff that you guys are interested in and get this dude on down the road. If you're new to the channel, thanks for checking it out. If you're coming over from the V10 stuff, sorry I didn't do V10 stuff this week, but like I said, I had to get the Jeep stuff done so that I can focus on that. You can check us out on social media at the RacerX Garage. And then I put out videos just about every Saturday. Sometimes things get in the way. Like I said, I do have a day job and I work 8 to 5. I can't put more than one video out a week, and sometimes it interrupts and I gotta push it to the next depending on what personal stuff we got going on. So I appreciate you guys' patience. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you guys so much for following along, and I can't wait to see y'all next time and work on that V10. Until next time, you know the deal. Y'all be good.